So it's Sunday. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Last night, as you saw, we taped some music at Danny's Cafe. We also taped interviews with a number of our merchants, did a little tour of the Microscope School of Music. We have still quite a bit of stuff to do today. We have a blues band, we have some hip hop artists, we have a reggae singer, we have a little Tai Chi demonstration. And I think you'll find all of it interesting and enlightening and I hope fun. So stay tuned, we'll see you in a minute.
Thank you all for coming out. Did you all have a nice holiday? Oh, and the holiday isn't over yet, there's still New Year's. It doesn't really count till New Year's is done. Did anybody relax? Did you relax? You were not relaxed last time. You were all stressed at Christmas. You relaxed a bit. I was pretty stressed then, and I took this past week off, so I've been pretty relaxed. But sometimes we get a little too crazy in our lives and forget to be sentimental. Or another song, Get Busy, write a song about being relaxed in your life and being sentimental. Sentimental, I want to be sentimental. When the evening comes and you're out the door, I want you to know what you came here for. I want you to live more sentimentality. Sentimental, I want to kiss you. Sentimental. When you go
Georges with Guinness. Guinness, can you tell us something? How long have you been working here?
Like almost like 5 years now, and hope to be a little more longer than that, you know. But right now, you know, it's very good, you know, to have like, you know, like a black business in Ossining and the rest of the business. Most of the time, you just try to do like a good proper haircut, make everybody feel nice, comfortable.
It's not only black people that come in and purchase haircuts here, but there's also others who, maybe Hispanics and white people also?
Yes, we have every class and race of people, man. Every class and race. Whites, blacks, Chinese, you name it. Every Hispanic, everything you think about, man. You know, but it's very good dealing with, you know, with these people and them, you know, makes the business much, you know, successful. And we hope, you know, to have the shop around here for a very long time, you know.
Tell me, Guinness, what hours could they catch you here at George's Barbershop?
Well, I'll be here from 9 till 7, you know, from Monday to Saturday. Sunday and Sundays we do like appointments too, like from 9 to 3, you know.
Is there a way they could get in contact with you if they want an appointment?
Or they could just call my shop number at 914-923-8093.
All right, we're here with Guinness, another good merchant here in Ossining, New York. Thank you very much.
Providing additional parking on the other side of the tracks under a different program, so.
Would it be fair to say that this items that you're talking about would apply to places like Lisboa, Dote, or Parisis if they had come to this village and you can deem, or the village manager can deem, certain village parking spaces to accommodate these businesses?
Well, does Parisi's have any parking on site?
No, I'm asking you.
No,
It
I
has to.
understand. What's the question,
I think they're in a
too?
zone.
It has to.
I think they're in a zone, and I may be a little bit stale, but I think they're in a zone that requires probably no on-site parking.
True.
Based on the availability of the recent parking. My question to you is that I looked at, like, the lot across from Lisboa Nope, an example, would that be accessible for them to use for parking if they came?
For who to use? For Lisboa to use?
Yeah, for a restaurant, for that particular restaurant, yeah.
For the village to give them space?
Yeah.
At this point in time, in my estimation, no, I wouldn't be prepared to give them space.
So this is a selective thing.
I would say this is part of the lease negotiations that we had to go through in order to obtain a business in that area, yes. It's a decision the board made. Yes?
Regina Rubenstein of the Cedar Lane Terrace, Ossining. I have two questions. The first one is the hours of operation, will that be set? And also, why are we returning to security after the alteration and not when they vacate?
The security deposit, quite candidly, is only 2 months' rent, is certainly not a lot of money in comparison to the scope of the total repair or alteration in the building. And our feeling was that in good faith and part of the negotiation, we agreed to return it to them if they completed their alterations and their renovation of the building. The cost of the renovations is in excess of $1 million, as I see it. So if that is completed, the return of the 2 months security, I think, would be good faith effort on the part of the village.
Well, except that at the termination, that you're requiring them to leave it in a certain condition, and if they don't, you have nothing with which to restore it to a good condition.
It's basically a concrete shell. There's not a lot of damage they can do to it.
We're not giving them a finished building. We're giving them an empty block
Yeah,
structure.
they're making all the improvements to the building. All we have there is a concrete shell.
Well, I thought the building itself was subdivided into different areas now. There's an office building at one time.
There are walls inside that building which are partitions that are made of some pretty old paneling, and they're not in the best repair. Most of those walls are coming down for the alterations that have to be made inside the building. So really, we're giving them a roof and some walls and a slab on grade. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, regarding the parking situation, I welcome the business that's trying to go down there. I think it would be a definite plus for the village. But I really feel that you have an advantage because you are the landlord. And you can bend the rules, so to speak. And I question that because as a property owner, I would have to go in front of necessary boards, such as the zoning board, to if I didn't meet the parking requirements and so forth. As we know, when you say to accommodate the business, there is restaurants, potential restaurants, I believe, down by where Salazzo's Marina is about to happen. I assume that you have to, or may entertain giving parking to them also if they cannot accommodate their needs on site. So this might mushroom into something more involved in what you're about to do in good faith. So whether it's this board or a new board, that's very challengeable through another court if you're going to do this. So be careful about what you're about to do.
I appreciate your comments. I think this board felt, and I won't speak for every one of them, but I think this board felt that the parcel down there was empty. If we wanted to lease it, we could lease the entire parcel to a business, and if we did so, then the use of that land, the remaining property, would not be used as a parkland. We wanted the land to remain open and in the parkland situation, and in order to do that, to create that parkland and to continue to have it used by all the citizens of the village, we had to provide parking elsewhere, not on the site. So we did that by providing parking adjacent to the site.
I have no problem, but I think it should go through the proper boards to cover the village, on behalf of the village. I think if they can prove their hardship, which I have and a lot of people have in this community, go to the zoning board, the ZBA. That's the board empowered to reduce the parking if necessary. So what I'm saying to you is you're maybe setting up a precedent right here regarding, because you are the landlord of the property, you can do anything you so please with a stroke of a pen, and I question that.
Corporation Counsel, you feel there are any problems in that regard? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nick Caputo. Nothing, Ferris Place and Ossining, nothing personal against this brewery, but this is stuff that I've been arguing my pet peeve for about 12 years. You can agree with me, you can disagree, but if the three principles of that building, that brewery, going into business, happen to be, let's say, for an example, John doesn't use his name, John Perillo, Pat Beldotti, and Paul Apollonio, I don't think this thing would move so quickly. I think they would say, well, wait, we can't do this right now. You know, you people are well-known, you're community developers. That's why I always tell you, I'll direct this to Mrs. Perron through the chair, there is gross discrimination when you're a community activist, community developer, a known person for years. You are better off to do business in Ossining if you're a stranger or if you're little known in the community. Things get done, they get by, they get worked out, but they can't get done. I was accused different times of being the mayor's cousin. So I couldn't be dealt with fairly because it looks like I'm getting a favor. It looks like I'm getting something. And I will continue to fight the system so that the people that have lived here all their lives and have developed land and have become active in the community and pay a lot of taxes can get their fair share. Just as I say, treat them the same way that you treat somebody else that moved in last week.
We do, and we will continue to do so, and if those same people have a proposal, please bring it forward. We'd like to entertain it.
Mr. Mayor, just
Yes.
a point of clarification on that. I believe that at the suggestion of some people here who are present, that the village did put out a request for proposals for the use of this particular property. This was at a suggestion that was made, and I believe that the people who are here are the only ones who submitted proposals for the use of this property. So it was
Any other?
not done
Mr.
on...
Mayor, I don't want my point to be misunderstood by Mr. Orange or
It's not.
somebody else. I'm just saying this, that if it happened to be those three individuals, and Tom knows very well, you'd be making sure the dotting I's, the dotting of the I's, the crossing of the T's. Wait a minute, because I don't think that these individuals, these three known individuals that I just named, could get this additional parking. I don't believe that this board, the corporation council, the village manager, it doesn't matter if it's this board, it happens to be this board, could be 5 others before, 5 others after, would say, we can't give out those extra parking spaces because it'll look bad. You know, it's John Perillo, it's Pat Beldotti, it's Paul Apollonio, and they're friends of Nick Caputo and things of this nature. And I'm tired, personally, of this discrimination, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you think it's relevant to this issue, I think it is. They are getting extra parking spaces. You're losing some commuter money because you're a landlord, as Mr. Perillo said, in a much more powerful position than he would be owning this property, because you can bend the law to suit you. God bless you, hon. But in any case, I really feel that this would not be given. This would not be given. I'm not saying those people are interested in the proposal. I'm using them as examples because they have been developers for years, they're real estate owners, and they pay a lot in taxes in this community. But when they attempt to do something, their processes are not run through the same system. It said, wait a minute, we can't let this appear like you're getting something extra. And all I'm saying for those people and myself, just give us the same as everybody else, not anything extra.
I totally disagree with you, Mr. Caputo, and everybody would be getting the same treatment from this board. Yes, Mr. Reed.
I want to know, that particular building, you mentioned that they're going to be paying property tax. are they gonna be paying property tax on the first year or the extra 5 years? I didn't quite understand.
The first year is what we call a base year. They will be paying a property tax increase going forward years.
Okay.
So in the first year's rent, we have included what we consider to be the property tax. But on a going forward basis, if there's an increase in property taxes, they will pay that increase.
Oh, I didn't quite understand because if there was a private owner with $1 million building, the property tax probably would be probably excess of the rent. And so and also would they get like a rebate or like a tax credit when they improve the building and after so many years, then it would start paying more and more.
No, I just would like to reiterate, the assessor has assessed the property, will assess the property at a later date, and as the taxes change, then the lessee will be paying the escalated price, the difference in the base year and the new assessment, if any.
Okay, so second year could be more.
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Andrew Nemmer, 316 Spring Street. How many commuter parking spaces have we given up?
15? Is that 15?
It's about that.
About 15.
33 in total.
About 15 spaces will be relocated.
Can we make more parking spaces on the grounds there?
We can if we want to put blacktop on the entire grounds. It was this board's opinion that it would be better to keep it at parkland, keep it green, and not put the parking on those grounds, so close to the water.
On this side of Maui's building there is place there that could be maybe parking there, blacktop.
I think that's where the 18 are going to go, I guess. That's where the 18 spaces are going to go, yeah.
And then there's 15 outside.
And 15 outside. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Penny Markman's Moses. I think 15 might be a little heavy. If you have 18 inside the grounds, which would figure for roughly 36 people, I wish them a lot more at lunch, but I don't think they'll see more than 36 people at lunch, maybe 40 tops, which means those 15 spaces are going to sit empty, which doesn't make any sense economically or keeping your commuters happy. They need those spaces at night when they can have 400 of them. They need those spaces on the weekends when they can have 400 of them. They don't need them for lunch during the week.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Has anybody computed the required spaces for that particular use?
I think that's how they came up with the 33. There's two per, one space for every 2 patrons in a restaurant.
It doesn't go by square footage?
Not in a restaurant.
And the employees?
I don't...
They can't afford
There were
spaces.
4?
There were 4 additional spaces.
There were 4 additional spaces.
Well, once again, I have to reiterate, you're giving away 15 parking spaces. When of course you are empowered to do so, because you are the landlord and you make the rules, but realistically, this should go in front of its due process, the zoning board of appeals.
Yes, ma'am.
What does an out-of-area resident pay for a parking spot? Isn't it $1,000 a year?
$450, is it? $425 or $450?
$450 if they're non-residents of the town of Ossining, $325 if they're residents of the village of Briarcliff or the unincorporated area of the town, and $200 if they're village residents.
The most is $450 then?
That's right.
Just around figure, just around, let's say 2 there is $1,000. You know, a little bit less.
You have approximately 43 people paying $450.
I can't answer this.
That's $6,000.
That's $6,000 a year. That's a lot of money, I think. A lot of money. And
Nobody's arguing that it isn't.
how can you just give it away? I mean, here this building.
We're not giving it away. We've negotiated a lease. They're going to be moved to another area. We're going to create additional spaces.
Why can't the patrons reserve the parking where you're going to locate?
On the other side of the tracks. Patrons won't walk that far to a restaurant. Any other questions? All those in favor? Yes.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes.
Before we vote? First, just in terms of the parking, one of the components of
arriving at a lease rate and putting together the entire structure was a decision. Do you try and charge for the parking spaces as a separate item or just build it into the monthly rental? Either way, it comes out the same in terms of income to the village. If it would be more desirable to have the monthly rental to be something in the $1,500 range and $500 for parking, I find that's a relatively moot point. Secondly, in terms of the speed with which this was rushed through, this process has been, these negotiations have been in process, including the RFP, for a little over 9 months, which is hardly rushing through. Thirdly, this board has been dedicated to trying to revitalize the downtown central business district and also the waterfront. I am absolutely excited about the possibility of the brewery, brew pub moving down there. I think it's a very, very creative, vibrant, vital, people attracting business to open down there. I think it takes great advantage of the waterfront. At the same time, it preserves a substantial portion of the property for public use, which I think is outstanding, something that we'd like to do. We have our cake and eat it too. It's one of those rare cases. I find it personally surprising that there are so many questions asked, but I'm delighted to hear them because I think the answers have been satisfactory. I would like to welcome the brew pub to Ossining. I'd like to wish them all the luck in the world. I think it's the first step of what I hope will be many, many steps in a long journey to making Ossining a vibrant, economically viable waterfront community, one that will make its residents proud. I think it'll be one that will be a destination point for visitors to further enhance the state of the economy in the village. I've maintained all along that cutting taxes can only drive the tax rate down so far. The other alternative, which has unlimited potential, is drive the revenue up. I think this is a first step in that direction also. And with that, I'd urge the board to vote yes. I'm going to vote yes. And again, I'd like to say welcome to the brew pub. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed?
Oh, abstain.
All in favor.
Excuse me,
Trustee Parent is abstaining.
you abstain? Okay.
Resolution N1 is the second part of this resolution, and it's for the designation, and I'm just going to read the resolves on this thing. Resolve, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby is designated as the lead agency in connection with the proposed memorandum of understanding and a lease agreement with the Sing Sing Brewing Company for the use of the portion of the Maui site, the microbrewery and restaurant, for the purposes of compliance with the SECRA and local law. And it is further resolved that the proposed leasing of a portion of the Maui site by the village to the Sing Sing Brewing Company, Incorporated, for use as a microbrewery and restaurant for aforesaid is hereby designated a Type 1 action for the purposes of SECRA compliance and review. And is further resolved, the Board of Trustees shall prepare or cause to be prepared a long-form environmental assessment form in connection with such action, and that such long-form EAF be circulated to all interested agencies as required by law. May I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Abstain?
No.
Motion is carried unanimously. Resolution O for the finance bond resolution property park grant bulkhead at the Maui property site. Resolved that Jerry J. Fiala, as village manager of the Village of Ossining, is authorized and directed to file an application on the forms prescribed by the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation for financial assistance in accordance with the provisions of Title IX of the Environmental Protection Act 1993, in the amount not to exceed $200,000, and upon approval of said request, to enter into and execute a project agreement with the state for such financial assistance to this municipality for a bulkhead at the Maui property. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am. Would you come up and...
I think it'd be difficult, I'll just try to speak loud, in this case, the people though. I just want to know, why is the wording in letter H different than the wording in letter I? You know, I'd say Gennaro Fiala as village manager of the village, and the other one says Board of Trustees authorizes. Why is the wording different on these two different, why is it different?
the way it came out.
I've
Why
never
is
seen
it
the wording I before.
The wording from I, Mr. Mayor, was the form of the resolution that was sent to us by the State Department of Parks and Recreation for inclusion as part of the grant. That was their form.
Is there a further question? Yes, sir.
Michael Mimno, 27 First Avenue. I just had a question. Was the surveying that has been going on for the last couple of weeks, is that part of this?
Down at the Maui site?
Yeah, down by the Maui site, down by Bronco Bus Corporation too?
No.
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 That's,
If I may answer the question, Mr. Mayor?
Sure, go ahead.
The village, the second portion of that resolution, as you see, indicates that we would be obligated, if the state were to grant the money to the village to put the bulkhead in, we would be obligated to dedicate a certain portion of that property as parkland to ensure that the bulkhead is accessible to the public in perpetuity. So that would assure that would protect the residents of the state, to make sure that the village didn't take the money, improve the property with the bulkhead, and then sell it. We had our surveyors down here to give us some points of reference to determine what small strip we would need to dedicate, not the whole parcel, but a portion of it, if we did receive the grant. Okay, but there was also some survey work being done on a separate piece of property that was not associated with the village.
Oh, it was, okay.
Yeah.
The other thing is, on the bulkhead that's going to be put in place, what type of services, let's say, do you have to go through in order to put that bulkhead in? Do you just get the authorization from the state and then go ahead and build it, or is there certain things that you have, certain processes that have to be done?
There are certain processes that need to be taken into account to do this, and the next resolution that the mayor and the board have before them is there's a gentleman in the village who is a technical engineer specializing in marine construction work, who has done some design work for us for the bulkhead so that we could produce with the grant, a technical drawing to show what we intend to build, have an analysis done as to what the cost would be, so our cost estimates are good. And he will also be assisting us through any regulatory permits that would be required by any state or federal agencies.
Such as environmental protection, such as...
It's the Army Corps of Engineers,
Army Corps of
it's
Engineers.
DEC, whatever, right?
Usually that has to be done when the bulkhead is put in, is that correct?
I'm not sure. Certain features are included in what's considered a nationwide permit, which does not require special permitting by the Army Corps. Other elements do not. Some require special permitting. I do not know how the bulkhead would fall into place. I've had a conversation with Mr. Sanford, and he's checking into that to see what is required. So we are covering that base.
Thank you.
Let me go back and correct, because I don't think I read the entire part of that resolution. Did I leave out the last, be it also resolved that if the grant is received, the area of the Maui property designated in the grant as parkland will be designated as parkland in perpetuity. So,
That's the question.
you have,
Possibly make a motion, amend the motion.
Amend the motion.
Again.
You agreed to include the
Agreed to
sound in
include,
that
yeah.
resolution.
okay,
And you second that?
okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
What do you mean by parkland? What is the definition of the word parkland?
Well, maybe you got a legal definition. Do you have a legal definition on it?
Well, it's an area that's specifically set aside and dedicated by the municipality for use as a parkland, and once you do that, you cannot change that designation from parkland to something else without a special act of the legislature.
Are you allowed to have any commercial enterprises on a parkland?
Sure.
Oh. So there's a lot of latitude.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at Playland has commercial enterprises on the parkland. The county has the restaurant in the park over there on off the parkway. Sure.
Yes, sir.
And who did the authority Spring Street Ossining? Bert Sanford, where is he from? Is he a local?
Yeah, he lives, I believe, on Ramapo Road.
Does he also build bulkheads, or just
I
consultant?
don't think he constructs them himself. He's an engineer.
I see. Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Resolution J, on the village property, park grant, Maui property site marine consulting service. Resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby authorizes the village manager to sign a contract with Burt Sanford for marine consulting services connected to the grant application for the bulkhead at the Maui property site at an amount not to exceed $1,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Resolution K, a community block development block grant pool lift. Resolved.
I will call for a roll call vote. Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Napolitano?
Aye.
Trustee Markowitz Moses?
Aye.
Trustee McFadden?
Aye.
Trustee Hernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Camberry.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to the many people who spoke tonight. I will do my best to answer some of the technical issues that were raised. Number of the questions that were raised are in the various documents, and I would refer you to the FEIS, to the resolutions and the like, but I will try to clarify a couple of the more relevant issues that were raised tonight to the best I can. With the issue of the LWRP and the consistency finding, under the law, a municipality can make 3 determinations with respect to consistency with the LWRP. It's consistent, consistent with conditions, or not consistent. The village board has received comments from the New York State Department of State with respect to the consistency finding and with respect to the FEIS final environmental impact statement. What you see tonight is in response to those statements, as well as the recommendations of the Environmental Advisory Council that met 6 times, as well as the Planning Board, both of those entities who voted that the policies that are being undertaken were consistent with the LWRP. Why is there a proposed amendment, minor amendment in language? That is the condition that the board finds that this is consistent with conditions. The board finds that this is consistent with the policies of the LWRP. The proposed minor amendment language was requested by the Department of State to update the LWRP so as on a go-forward basis make it consistent with and clarify and update it with the determinations that are being made tonight. They do not believe, as the board does not believe, as the AC did not believe, as the planning board did not believe, that the rezoning and the actions taken tonight are inconsistent with the LWRP, but they made a finding of consistency with the conditions that are attached here too. The comments, a couple of the other technical comments that were raised tonight, there was, I think, one comment about you have no one that's qualified to negotiate this deal. The board extracted from the developer, in this case, an escrow fund. That escrow fund, the board has controlled and had full power over hiring and firing of a consultant team that they have put together from the beginning of this project to negotiate and independently review on their behalf. That negotiating team, added to that negotiating team, was a firm called HRA, a very well-respected private and public real estate consulting firm and financial analyst from New York City who has participated in the negotiations, who has assisted the board in analyzing the facts and the amounts and the finances of this project, who has assisted myself, who has been involved now in 3 $100+ million redevelopment projects representing municipalities, who's assisted DeVerk & Bartolucci, who's a well-known and respected engineering firm and has substantial experience in construction and engineering, as well as Cleary Consulting, who is also a well-known planning firm and represents numerous municipalities throughout Westchester. I think this board, with all due respect, has had as good a negotiating team as well as the amount of time and effort that they have put into analyzing the figures and working on this project over a 4-year period which involved numerous negotiation sessions, and some that have gotten to the point at times where they would get quite contentious, and this board stuck to their guns. With respect to the issue of fire safety that was raised, there have been extensive meetings with the fire officials to discuss the issues of access, truck access, fire access, hydrants, water availability, water flow, all the issues with respect to safety. This board has taken a hard look at this issue, but in addition to that, one of the conditions to site plan approval is that the board shall approve a comprehensive fire emergency and waterfront security plan that must be approved in writing, in detail, by the village fire and police commissioners respectively, as well as any other emergency facility providers for the village. So these issues have been discussed, have been analyzed in detail, but any site plan approval, again, will be subject to a detailed plan in writing that's going to have the approval of all the relevant entities. With respect to issues of spot zoning, financial analysis, school impact analysis, those issues are elaborated at length both in the secret findings as well as in the DEIS, in the FEIS, as well as the secret findings. With respect to the issue that this has been snuck through and kept from the public, this process began with an RFP in 1998. The secret environmental review process started in 1999. It has involved, as many of you know, because many of you have been involved, numerous public forums, numerous public discussions, 6 meetings of the EAC, numerous meetings of the planning board, and many other forums where, at a minimum, I think people would at least concede that the issues have been aired. And whereas I know there are people here that still disagree with some of the determinations, clearly the issues have been on the table, and this project has undergone significant modifications or various modifications from the beginning of the project. With respect to the issue of there are no assurances that the public space will remain public, the first condition in the secret finding here that will also be incorporated into the site plan review, that will also be incorporated into documents as part of the land disposition agreement. A, the village and the applicant shall enter into strict, legally enforceable agreements, including protective easements and deed restrictions for the benefit of all the residents of Ossining. And that's put in there so the residents of Ossining can enforce these documents, ensuring that all publicly designated open space related to the proposed actions are fully accessible to the public and maintained in perpetuity by the applicant or its successor, subject to reasonable controls in effect in connection only with other village-owned public recreational land, and that any restrictions shall apply equally to any residents living on the site as well as the public at large. So this board is very cognizant of creating those documents that ensure that this site, the 2.7 acres of open space, usable open space, remains as that. The process that will happen at this point is there will be a full site plan review, special use review. There will be another round of public hearings. There will be an opportunity for many of you, hopefully, to be involved in helping this, to design this, put the flesh on it so it does live up to the vision that the board has tried to create, much of it which embodies many of the concerns you raise. Others, obviously, the height of the building is something that is conceptually will be determined pursuant to these to these findings. But during site plan review, among other things, the applicant shall identify and build, in consultation with the public and the village board, certain recreational amenities on the public portions of the site, including possible kiosks, boating rental facilities, fishing, waterfront historical educational facilities, and others. So there's still a lot of important work that will need to take place in the event that this board does approve this tonight, that will hopefully ensure that this is the type of dynamic public waterfront, more urban in nature, as provided for in the Chadbourne studies. Intensive mixed use is provided in the preamble of the current zoning, and hopefully will be the vision that the land use plans that this board has tried to follow and has worked hard to reflect. And I think I speak for the board, and they'll speak for themselves, obviously, but there'll be further opportunity for the public to stay involved and to move closer to this vision.
Napolitano?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just briefly, and I'll try not to take too much time because I know we have to move on and there's a lot of people waiting. But I came to this board 5 years ago with the feeling that for decades Ossining needed to move forward. It needed to move forward economically. It needed to move forward in a lot of cases socially. There was a lot of things that needed to happen to make those changes necessary that benefited the taxpayers of this community. Riverfront development was on the table then, and is still on the table now. I believed in it then. I believe in it now. I believe this project, and somebody mentioned last week or the week after about spillover, and what spillover means to the central business district, to the Main Street area. And I believe that that is absolutely correct. I believe that there was a lot of benefit to this project, and I believe this project will supply both the open space and the commercial and the residential that has been the plan for many years. And I see some people shaking their heads, and I with all due respect, I came here to do things that I believed in and to do for this community what I believe is the right thing to do. And I will respect your opinion if you will respect mine. And so it is with pride, and just to touch a bit on the fire, because I did have some involvement with that. The applicant was very cooperative. There were several meetings with the fire department. The fire chiefs had as much input as is humanly possible onto where different things were going to go and how it was going to be treated and what was going to be in the buildings and et cetera. And Joe, you've been involved in that, and I thank you for that. Publicly, I thank you for that because I think you did an excellent job. So I will cut it short at that. And I've always believed in moving Ossining in the right direction, and I firmly believe we're doing that tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Napolitano. Trustee Markowitz Moses?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to keep my remarks very brief. We've all been listening to a lot of things tonight, and I don't want to delay the evening any longer than is necessary. I believe in this project. You've all known that for a long time. I haven't changed my opinions from day one. We've worked out the kinks in it, we believe. We all believe we've got a good project. And we believe tonight's a breakthrough because it's going to allow us the access to property we've never had. People say we've taken away access. Well, you don't take away what you never had. Since the inception of Ossining, except for Maui a few years ago, these properties have all been private for almost 200 years, and therefore they haven't had access. We've worked, we've listened to the community, we've reduced the size of this project so it's sustainable. It's sustainable for the developer, it's sustainable for the community, it's sustainable for all of us. It gives us what we need. It is, as far as we're concerned, the right balance. And that balance is going to bring this project residences, it's going to bring businesses, it's going to bring a restaurant, it's going to have the spillover effect to the downtown, and it's going to create a greater revitalization within the entire village than just for the 4.5 acres in the waterfront. I firmly believe that this project will serve as a model for other communities who have not been successful in revitalizing their blighted their waterfronts. Communities have tried to revitalize from Riverdale to Albany. They haven't succeeded. We are going to succeed. We're going to become a model, and the developer himself will be sought after for the success in this project. Ossining will be looked upon as a groundbreaker in many different ways, and I'm proud to be part of this project, and I'm proud to be able to cast my vote in favor of it when we do so this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh, okay, well, that was going end to end into the middle. Okay,
I'll save the best for last, maybe.
there you go.
First of all, and I think because of comments that we've received from the public, this project is better than what it originally started out with. Originally, those that recall, the project called for 225 units, parking ratio of 1 space per unit. That has changed. We're now looking at 180 units, a comfortable mixture of studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom. The data that we have available indicates that the school-age students that's going to be generated is something that we can live with in the project. Again, frankly, the comments that we've received, again, as I said, really have made this project better for the village of Ossining. Our special counsel pointed out earlier that we have assembled the very best consultants. One of the speakers spoke earlier indicating that our experience or inexperience, if you would, to negotiate a development project, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that's why we go out and we hire a consultant. For professionally, I do a lot of negotiating, not necessarily construction project, but certainly in every time I sit across the table.
Both praise and condemning letters that raise certain issues. I want to assure you that I've taken all of that criticism to heart. And I think that as a result of listening to you, okay, and taking those recommendations that you've had and brought them before this board and brought them to the negotiating process, we have had what I would consider to be some significant changes made to the original project. You know what those are? I'm not going to go into them because we have a lot more to go into this program tonight. But I feel sincerely that your comments have been helpful to this board, have been helpful to me, in any event, to understand the depth of your feeling about this project. And between the lines, I would want to say that many of you have made some excellent suggestions. And we have tried to incorporate as many of those as we possibly could into the process. I came on the board in 1999. It's been with the intention of learning more about this project. I've studied this project for over 2 years. I've had the privilege, or perhaps not the privilege, of reading reams and reams of information and faxes and letters and comments, and it's all been a learning experience. So I think that I'm very comfortable in making my decision to support this project, and I know that some of you certainly would be disappointed, and perhaps some of you are disappointed even in me personally, but I feel that I didn't